Hey, how y'all doing? So this is Shanice, the author, and I'm here getting ready to prepare one of my very favorite dishes, an actual Caribbean soup that one of my good friends' grandmothers had given to me some years ago, given me the recipe some years ago. So I'm actually making a rendition of the soup because I normally put spinners in it and some other vegetables, and I do have my white yams, so that's important. So I'm excited to make this soup, and I figured I'd get on here and chat with you guys for a little bit. So I often get asked a question about my theory, etiquette one-on-one. Where did it come from and what does it mean to me? So I figured I could talk to you about that a little bit as I make this soup, because it takes a while to make this soup. So, but anyways, just with the soup, there's a lot of vegetables in it, as you can see. I have a lot of carrots. I do like carrots, and I got my butternut squash. I love butternut squash. So I figured, since it's actually getting ready to snow again here in Atlanta, and I figured since it's getting cold, and it was already cold, but since it's getting ready to snow, I might as well just make a large pot of it so I can eat on it for a few days. And it's warm, it's hearty, and it's fresh, and it's good for you. So why not? I ran out of food a little bit, so I started eating my apocalyptic food. So I had to run to the store and get some more ingredients and get some more groceries. So I said, why not? Might as well make my soup. So have to leave the apocalyptic food for the apocalypse. So, but anyways, whenever I make this soup, I do it because I'm usually depressed. And, or I'm actually really happy. So it's either of the two. And when I make the soup, I'm either, listening or watching TD Jakes, or I'm listening to soca. So today I've chosen to listen to soca. It's so funny. I'm listening to Nappy Farmer, the song Wifey that just came up. I never really paid attention to the lyrics, but he's saying that his wife, he puts her first. He's telling her, you're first. So I'm like, I can't get with that. So if I'm first, then who's second and who's third? But anyway, so a friend of mine made a comment. It's like, Shanice, you always, do things, Caribbean things, whatever. Are you sure you're not from the islands? I'm like, yeah, no, I am a Yank, but I do love world music. I'm from Miami. I'm cultured. While I am a Yank, I do have family in the U.S. Virgin Islands, so that's the only Caribbean I can claim. My family that lives in St. John's. But anyway, so I love world music. I love Amapiano, Afrobeats, soca, reggae, all the things. And, but yeah. So, etiquette one-on-one, be kind to you first. So, when I think of Matthew 22:39, I think of etiquette one-on-one, be kind to you first. The word tells us to love our neighbors as thyself. And I feel like my interpretation of that is love yourself first. And love your neighbors as a replication of the love that you have for yourself. And that's what etiquette one-on-one is. Be kind to you first. How can I genuinely be kind to anyone else if I'm not that to myself first? So that's pretty much what etiquette one-on-one is. And hold 1 second. My soca music is just a little bit too loud. You turn it down. There we go. So if I'm not that to myself first, then how can I be that to anyone else genuinely? So that's pretty much what that is. And then I think about how I even come to etiquette one-on-one and how I even implemented that into my life. So a number of years ago, I had a situation with my health, and I decided to separate myself and just to kind of focus more on me. And with the help of my therapist and some people who I actually see as a mentor and whose opinions I value, it was them who helped me through that process. Because as a now reformed people pleaser, a now reformed people pleaser, it was challenging for me. But I got through it, and I understood that was the best thing I could have ever done for myself. So there were times where I actually became a recluse and I actually secluded, but it was driven by depression. This is the first time I intentionally separated myself to focus on me. And I can tell you one thing, God is a healer. Because one of the things that happened to me when I did finally separate myself from, toxic situations, my physical health improved. Yes, God is a healer. So we have to take care of this temple. take care of this temple. And that doesn't mean just physical stuff, what we eat and what we consume and stuff like that. Emotional health, mental health, all of that stuff matters. Because as we know, stress and all of that stuff and depression, those are silent killers. So the moment I decided to put myself first is the day that is not the day, but it's when I actually got my physical healing. Okay? God is a healer. And then when I think about where I am and the peace that I have, it's addicting. I love it here. I love spending time with myself. I love my own company. I kind of already been that way, like ever since I was a kid, but now even more as an adult. And I think about all that I forfeit and all that we forfeit when we, recluse ourselves or excuse ourselves from toxic people and toxic situations. We don't have to worry about the unwarranted subliminal messages on social media, the underhanded comments, the insults under the guise of a joke, and the plans and the plots with the intent to hurt us and hurt our feelings. There's so much we can forfeit, the users and all of the things. And it's a time where I had to help people out. People who were confused about how they felt about me. They weren't sure if they loved me. They weren't sure if they liked me. And it showed in their actions. One day they're nice. The next day they're not. One minute they're cool. The next minute they're hot. You're confused. You're not sure how you feel about me. So let me help you out. You go over there and, you figure it out over there, and then I'll be over here. But once you figure it out, you go ahead and stay over there. Okay, I'm going to stay over here. So that's what happens when we separate ourselves. Sometimes that means we have to, reevaluate and reassess these relationships. Some people we have to love at a distance. Some people we have to sever ties, and that's just it. Traditionally and culturally speaking, a lot of us are not accustomed to that, and it makes it even harder. Even if you are a reformed people pleaser, speaking of people pleaser, it makes it even more challenging. But remember all that you forfeit by doing it. And even your physical health, okay? Stress kills, okay? Your physical health, and you deserve it. And then I think about not only that, just the benefits of etiquette one-on-one. Be kind to you first. My physical health improved. I discovered gifts and talents that I would have probably never discovered had I not. I authored a book. I wrote my book pre-ChatGPT, so I'm not saying that to shade anybody who did write their book via ChatGPT, but I'm saying that I wrote it traditionally, which meant a whole lot of time and effort and talent went into that. I created a curriculum. I created a program. I even produced a show. It may not be a high-budget film show, but hey, it was my show, and I did that. And guess what? Despise not the days of humble beginnings. And those are the things that I'm so proud of. Had I not implemented etiquette one-on-one in my life, I would have never, ever discovered those things. So I think about also how I'm more comfortable with not just speaking my boundaries and setting my boundaries, but exerting them. That is the most challenging part about boundaries, not setting them, but exerting your boundaries. Exerting your boundaries and standing firm on them is probably more difficult than actually speaking your boundaries. So I hope that this message blesses someone, confirms something for someone. And if you've never heard this before, I hope it planted a seed. Okay? Etiquette one-on-one. Be kind to you first. And girl, let's go. All right? This author, Shanice Truesdale. I'm out of here. Again, I hope this blessed you. Have a good day.